It's time for the sandbox news. This week we have new powerful armor, updates to the platformer game, more sound improvements, updates to the character model, and a couple new editor updates. It doesn't look like Construct has been updated. We still have the HD realistic 3D grass. Wow. There's a new, very strong and powerful chest plate. This is armor for the Ultimate Warrior. As we can see, it's cardboard with a bunch of random trash taped to it. It looks like there's an orange juice box taped to it. That's interesting. There's some sticky notes. We can see somebody riding a tank. BFS forever. Let's see, a grocery list. For some reason, there's like pencils taped to it. That could be a safety hazard. I think that's the word army, except the R is backwards. And there's like a shield thing. Here's King Terry. Very interesting. Oh, wait a minute. This is insane. Wow. Tomorrow. Oh my god. Tomorrow. I love this armor. It's crazy. So some more trash taped to the side. Here's a sticky note that says, "Kick me." Looks like there's a frog and that weird S thing. In addition to this new armor, we also have updates to the platformer. The name has been changed from Terry's Ultimate Platformer to Super Tumble. Now, I don't actually know if that means anything. Here we can see the tag map has been updated. Here's what it looked like last week, and here's what it looked like a couple weeks ago. So we can see some major graphical improvements. It's gotten a complete art pass. I'll run around it for a little and we can see all the little details everywhere. This looks so great. It's so realistic. It looks like I'm inside of a giant, whatever this space would be called. I really like this because it's a great example of how varied the art styles can be of the different sandbox games. I don't like comparing this to Gary's mod. However, in Gary's mod, everything kind of looked the same. There weren't really big variations in the art style between different Gary's mod game modes. But here we can see this looks totally different from Construct, and also totally different from this haunted forest, which looks totally different from my stockyard map. There are more updates to sounds. Here in the inspector, we can see the sounds have been changed. Previously, I believe they used a distance setting, but now they use decibels. Here we can see a list of the current decibel settings. Starting at the top, we can see the quietest settings. So 20 decibels would be something like a leaf rustle or whispering. And then it goes all the way down from a child scream to a helicopter to gunshots and eventually a rocket launcher. And then it looks like anything louder than a rocket launcher is considered your mom's fat mouth. So very interesting. And if we change this slider here, we can see it changes the decibel value. Now, this slider thing, it's very primitive right now. We can only just slide it. I wish there was a drop-down menu so we could actually see this list of options instead of having to move it around and just guess where something would be. You can see when we adjust the slider, it actually adjusts the preview down here. So I'm not entirely sure how this works. I guess we'll find out. So the further away I click from the middle, the further away the sound will sound. So this is for testing distance. If I increase the decibel value, it just changes the scale of this preview. So we can see on a low decibel setting, the distance is only 3 meters away before you can't hear it anymore. However, on the loudest setting, rocket launcher, it's 188 meters before it gets quiet. Now, I'm not really a sound expert, so I'll have to play around with this before I feel comfortable with it. However, I think this makes a lot more sense with the new Steam audio systems. Previously, with just a distance slider, that didn't really mean anything with advanced baked audio, because the audio would sound differently if something was behind a wall, for example, instead of being the same distance away but in front of you. So I guess this just makes sounds and the sound settings more realistic. There are new updates to the character's skinning and triangulation. So I'm not really a modeler, but if you are, you might get something out of this. You can see the character's arms look less twisted and deformed in extreme positions. It doesn't look that different with this bland flesh-colored arm. However, I assume it would make a bigger difference on detailed clothing where it's not all just one color. Again, I'm not really a modeler, so I might be wrong on this. there are a couple tools updates. So the Postprocessing Editor, this tool was very primitive. It's still pretty primitive, but it was even more primitive before. We couldn't right-click anywhere to do anything, and we couldn't duplicate or right-click to add or delete layers. I wonder, can we still? No, it looks like we can't reset these to the defaults yet. Now we can also type in values here. Previously, we had to use the slider bar. We couldn't manually type in exact values. So these are some great changes to the Postprocessing Editor. The add-on uploading window has also changed. So if I click upload to S&box on one of my add-ons, instead of uploading right away, I can type in a summary and a big description. And then when I click publish, it'll upload everything. And then we have this OMG success screen. So this is how you know your add-on has been successfully uploaded. Previously, the window just disappeared, so it wasn't very clear that your add-on uploaded properly, but now it is. I made a new map. It's called Haunted Forest. It's for Decibels' Spire game. And as you can see, it's set inside of a haunted forest. So very spooky and very scary. My spine sure is shivering. Spire is a Rising V inspired game being made by Decibels TJ. And it's very exciting, very thrilling, and very interesting. So as you can see, this map is very realistic and it's very haunted in forest. It's made for top-down games, so it looks a little strange in first person, especially with the water not being affected by fog and the leaves on the trees disappearing. But that's okay because it's not made for that perspective. Now, you might have noticed the frame rate on this map is pretty awful. In fact, it's terrible. I'm only getting about 20 to 30 frames per second right now. And that's not really just a map issue, that's a S&box issue. Everything in S&box is really laggy right now, but they're working on optimizing stuff and improving it. For example, there's a buffer rework fix thing, which is coming soon. It actually already came out, but it was broken on AMD graphics cards, so it had to be reverted. Now, I'm not really a shader or graphics programmer. I have no idea what any of that stuff means, but from my understanding, it will help increase frame rates and make a lot of things run better. But again, I don't really know what that stuff means. Anyways, that's it. That's all the S&box news. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you to my Patreon supporters.